Is foreign aid the solution to Africa's problem? Well, the answer to this question is a huge no. Because if you ask yourself, for how long have we been collecting this foreign aid from Westerners or Easterners? You will realize that we've been collecting it like forever. And how much have our conditions changed? You will see that it hasn't changed much. That just goes to tell you that receiving foreign aid is not the solution. And if you keep on giving people things, you make them dependent on that thing. People really do not think out of the box when they are being constantly handed stuff. People must learn to work for themselves. People must learn to do things that will benefit them. People must learn to go out there and do the necessary things in order to make their own lives better. And the next point I want to talk about is that most of these so called foreign aid do not end up where they are supposed to end up. These so called foreign aid are being embezzled by Africa's corrupted leaders. They do not get to the common masses, those people who need the aid the most. They don't get it. They don't get it. It is a way for corrupted politicians to line up their own pockets. And they have done so bigly. So let me say this again. Foreign aid is a problem for Africans. Foreign aid is never or will never be the solution to Africa's problem. Africans themselves must figure out the solutions to their problems themselves. That is the only way out. Is dictatorship necessarily a bad form of governance? And my answer to this question is a solid no. A system of governance in itself is not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. An idea can be used for both good and ill. I see people say dictatorship is not good, authoritarianism is horrible, and I'm like, no, not necessarily. The system itself is never the problem. Do you know what the problem is? The problem is with who that controls the system. Now, if you have a good dictator, he is going to do things. Things are going to be quickly done. If you just have one person making all the decisions, and that person is someone who is smart, is someone who understands what the people need, is someone who loves his people or her people and his or her country, that individual is going to do what serves his or her country the most. We have had dictators. I mean, that's what the West will call them. Or we have had leaders who were considered as dictators, but were great leaders. One example is the former leader of Libya, Colonel Mohammed Gaddafi. He was a great person. Now, he had his own mistakes, okay? He wasn't a saint. Like most leaders, he had his own flaws. He wasn't perfect, but he was someone who got things done, who paved the road, who built hospitals, who made sure that Libyans had something to eat and somewhere to live. You needed to see Libya when he was the leader. People from all over Africa went to Libya for greener pasture. Libya was an Africa success story. He was a great person. He did what he thought was great for his people. But no, 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 no. He was branded a dictator. And even with the brand of a dictator, he still did what was necessary for Libyans to get ahead, to live in their own country. But the West wasn't still satisfied. They had to take him out whatever the cost. They had to. So no, dictatorship is not necessarily a bad form of governance. If you have someone who knows how to get things done, dictatorship can become the best form of governance because one person decides and others follow. Roads will be built, schools will be created, opportunities will be created for people to get things done. And people will live a good life. How huge is foreign influence in Africa? Well, you need not look further, right? It is super, super huge. It's like in every corner you look, there is one form of foreign influence to the other. The Americans, the Chinese, the Russians, the Europeans, the Japanese, everybody struggling to grab a piece of Africa. It is in every corner. So huge. And remember, right, I tell people that all these foreigners in Africa, all these foreign influences in Africa, they are not there to help us, the Africans. They are not there to support us, the Africans. They are not there because somehow they feel the need. They have this passion and love towards the African people. That's not why they are there for. No, that's not why they are there. They are there because they saw Africa as a place where they can grab what they need. They saw Africa as a place where they can go there and secure their own piece of land or territory, and they can harvest all what that territory has got to offer. That is the reason they are in Africa. And that's the reason they do whatever it takes to stay in Africa. That's why they've corrupted our leaders. And that's why they've turned us into their puppet. And they keep on using us for their own gains. Look at the Congo. Do you see what is happening in the Congo? Look at Cote d'Ivoire. Look at Cameroon. Look at Nigeria. Nigeria, the biggest economy in Africa. The most populated country in Africa. The biggest oil producer in Africa. What can Nigeria offer its citizens? Nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. Now look at Central African Republic. We have Russian influence in there. Go to Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. You see Russian influence in those countries. They are everywhere. Everywhere you look, you see Western influence. I have to say this again, right? Africans must learn to stand on their own 2 feet. They have to stand on their own 2 feet because the Westerners are not in Africa to help us. They've never helped us. You must ask yourself, right? For The length of time they've been in Africa, what have they done that has been solely for the benefit of us, the African people? What did they do that was solely for our own benefit, that didn't benefit them? What? Just point one thing, one single thing you see them do in Africa that benefited us, the African people, only, not them. Because, to the best of my knowledge, whatever they've done in Africa has been for their own benefit and then by extension, us. Whatever they did in Africa was for their benefit and then by extension, us. It was never solely for our own benefit. Never, ever. But then again, I am open to new knowledge and learning. If you know about something that the Westerners have done in Africa that was solely for us, the Africans, pinpoint that thing to me, educate me. I shall be very, very grateful. Is a ban on same-sex relationship necessary? Let me think for a second. No, I think not. I think that same-sex relationship in Africa at the moment isn't the main issue most Africans are facing. I think that if we look across Africa with all our problems, and if we are to list out those problems in order of priority, same-sex issues or relationship won't even feature on the list. It won't. We have so many issues that we are facing, so much so that same-sex issues or agenda or relationship is not even on the radar. It's not. We have poverty, we have unemployment, we have hunger and starvation, we have bad governance. These are issues that affect almost every single African. These are the issues that we should be focusing on. Let's try our best to eradicate poverty. Can we do that? Let's try our best to make sure that every single African can have food to eat. Can we do that? Let's try our best to make sure that every single African can have a place to lay down their heads at night. Can we do that? Can we do that? Let's look for a way to bring back security, to stamp out insecurity in the country or in the continent. Can we do that? Let's look for a way to stamp out Western influence in the continent. Can we do that? Because these are the things that are affecting the lives of every single African. These are the things. I don't think that someone who hasn't had something to eat, someone who has no job, someone who is hungry, someone who is starving, someone who doesn't know where he or she is going to sleep at night will be thinking like, if only there was a ban on same-sex relationship, that would have made all my problems go away. I don't think there's any person who is thinking like that. I don't think that there's someone who wake up in the morning and it's like, if only our government arrested all same-sex individuals and imprisoned them, I would be in a better position than I am now. I don't think someone think like that. No, people want better paying jobs. People want security so that they can carry out their activities without worrying about their lives or their businesses. Those are the things that people need. So, banning same sex activities isn't the priority. Our leaders in Africa must understand that there are many things they can do to help common Africans. And they just distracting or trying to escape from doing what they are supposed to do will not help anyone in the country. Has democracy worked out in Africa? No, it has not. In fact, democracy has failed massively in Africa. You need not look further. Just look at the government. Just look at the leaders. Do you think that democracy has really worked out? Really? Do you really need someone to explain that to you? And by the way, do you think that what we have in Africa is democracy? I mean, don't kid yourself. Most countries in Africa have democracy only on paper. But in practice, there is no such thing as democracy. No, no, there isn't. Most countries in Africa are practicing authoritarianism. That's not democracy. The fact that some countries do change their leaders from time to time doesn't make it a democracy. The fact that one leader comes and one leader goes doesn't make it a democracy. No, because there is corruption in every single corner of the country. There is bribery everywhere. Nepotism is the order of the day. Favoritism, don't just get me started with that. People don't get to be where they are because they deserve it. No, it's never like that. They get to be where they are because of who they know and how manipulative they can be. That's just it. The roads are not being built. The schools are not being taken care of. The hospitals are not being funded. Why? Because no one cares about you. Because your vote never counted in the first place. It wasn't your vote that got them where they are. No, 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 no. You might have casted your vote thinking that your vote is what got them where they are. No, 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 no. Don't make that mistake. They didn't get there because you voted for them. Your vote never ever mattered in the first place. It never ever mattered. Some people got them there. The cabals got them there. So you're sitting there thinking that you have democracy in your country. You're just deceiving yourself. And that is the reason why your leaders don't do what benefits you, because they are not accountable to you, because you didn't get them there. You might feel, or you might think, or you might believe that you voted them, but you are just living in a delusion. You are just being delusional. You did not get them there. No, it wasn't you. Because had it been that it was you who got them where they are, they would have done what they promised to do. Or at least they would have done what you asked them to do. But the reason they are not doing none of those things is because you did not get them there. It wasn't your vote that got them there. And so they are not accountable to you, and you can do them nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. So let me answer the question again. Democracy has been a big failure in Africa. And if anyone tells you that most countries in Africa practice democracy, they lie to you. They don't. Democracy is only on paper, never in practice. Take it from me. I know what I'm talking about. Why are most Africans embracing religion, aka Christianity? Well, the answer is very simple. If you are hopeless, if you are desperate, if you are in a situation where you see no future, and all of a sudden someone came to you and painted you a picture of an amazing future, won't you buy it? Won't you? Because I would. Honestly, I would. If I was in a situation where I felt like I was stuck, I felt like I had no way out, and someone came to me and pointed me or painted me a picture of a way out. It doesn't matter if what they painted was practical or not, I will believe them. I will buy into it because I am really, really desperate and I feel stuck. That is exactly why most Africans are now rushing into religion. They have been disenfranchised by their elites and their politicians. They have been promised one thing and other things have been done. They were told that we, the elites, we, the politicians, are out here looking out for you guys. And do not, don't worry, we will take very good care of you people. But later on, they found out that the politicians and the elites were not looking out for them, I mean the commoners, but rather looking out for themselves, I mean the politicians. That all what they have been fed by the politicians were all lies and deceptions. That the politicians are a bunch of liars and manipulators. When the commoners realized all this, they were stuck, they were confused, they were hopeless, they didn't see any way out of it. And then the preachers came in and told them that, well, we understand that you guys are fed up. We understand that your politicians have failed you guys. We understand that the system is failing you. The government is not doing what they promised to do, and the government has been a huge failure. But remember, there is someone who neither sleeps nor slumber. There is someone who will do exactly what he said he's going to do. There is someone who has your best interest at heart, and that person is God the Almighty. That all you need to do is to come to Him and tell Him your problems. Make sure you are humble, you are sincere, you are honest, and tell Him all your problem, and He will solve it for you. That why worry when you have someone who can solve all your problems? Someone above who is watching over you 24/7. Someone above who knows your beginning and your end. All you needed to do was just to come to him and kneel down and explain your situation to him, and he will solve it. When someone who is desperate, when someone who feel stuck, when someone who thought that they had no way out, when they hear this, of course, they will buy into it. I would. I would buy into it. If I were stuck, okay, if I felt stuck, if I felt like I was in a place when I had no way out and someone painted me the picture I just painted, of course, I will follow them. Why not? At least there is hope, isn't it? That is it. That is the trap. Hope is the trap. So they use that to entrap you. And then you go there. And then you realize that they are no better than the politicians. I mean, some people did, others haven't. They're no better than politicians. You realize that the whole religion was just a hoax. That was just what it is. It was just a way to entrap you. It's like you remove yourself from one bad situation and just got yourself into another one, another bad situation. That is the reason. Most Africans have been disenfranchised. Most Africans look at their government and they see no way out, they see no solution. They turn around and they see a man of God who promises them all kinds of good things. Why wouldn't they believe the man of God? Why wouldn't they? That is the reason. That is the reason. But let me say this before I go. Even the church won't solve the problem, won't solve your problem. The only person who can solve your problem is you. The only one who can make decisions that will benefit you is you. The only one who has your own interests in heart the most is you. So, going to church won't solve your problem. It won't. If that were to be a solution to problems or to the problems that Christians face in Africa, don't you think that those problems would have been solved by now? Don't you think so? That won't solve the problem. It won't. Don't let any person fool you.